Hi everyone, Sailor Moon here, or Serena, or Sailor Neptune, or Sailor SeaWorld Michelle here. And today we're going to talk about who made the greater toys. Was it Irwin Toy, which is no longer around anymore, and went out of business around 2001 into 2002 YL? Or is it Bandai that's been making Sailor Moon dolls since between 93 YL or so? Now, and a lot of folks will say that, oh, Bandai made the greater Sailor Moon dolls, or Irwin did. Now, that's a belief there, because I happen to know my belief is that Irwin Toy and Bandai both did very well making the Sailor Moon dolls. Some of them did more good than others. I mean, Irwin made it where yes, the dolls could hold their shape shifting sticks or staffs, and something that Bandai wasn't good at. And if you wanted the doll to hold something, you had to take the gloves off. Where Irwin made it where the gloves were already on, Bandai made it where you had to put the gloves on. Now, another 1-2 thing that both Irwin and Bandai may have been guilty of were making the doll stands not work well with dolls that wear boots. Dolls that wear shoes or high heel shoes. In Sailor Moon's world, there were two kind of footwear you wore. Either you wore boots, shoes, or high heel shoes, and that was it. So most of the dolls in Sailor Moon's world were either shoes or high heel shoes. And let me tell you something, the stands did not work very well with dolls wearing shoes. Either they would fall right off, fall over, or bend over, or you had to fight to put them on. Now, the one stead where Irwin was good at was the boxes. Wasn't it cool looking at the boxes? Seeing Sailor Moon in the box. Wasn't it cool? We're looking at the back and seeing the Deke thing and all the other Sailor fighters you could get. And Bandai was also good too, because Bandai liked to put all those beautiful roses or whatever English word is on the boxes and things. So both of them were really good when it came to making the boxes. And both of them, when they made the dolls, yeah, some of them made the dolls. See, a lot of folks seem to believe that it was that have this belief going, but the truth was that Irwin and Bandai were both making the dolls the same way, with that long leered look that everybody likes to call them. And it wasn't until about late 2000 going to 2001 while that Irwin and Bandai both started making dolls that had the more beautiful leer. But at the end of the day, I think the long leered and I think both the dolls were beautiful. Just what you liked. Now, when it came to Irwin and Bandai, sometimes things could break. And on dolls, it always seemed to be the legs. Yeah, the legs would break. Not the heads, not the arms. Yeah, the legs would break. But that would happen to Sailor Moon dolls over time. No need. But we're not talking about that. But what do you think? At the end of the day, I think that Irwin Toy did very well with making Sailor Moon dolls. I think they put a lot of work into the clothing, into the hair, into the stands. They didn't work very well. Into the shape-shifting staffs or sticks, or whatever things they came with, the gloves, whatever. What do you think? Well, what I think, Sailor Moon, is I think that you're right. Both Irwin Toy and Bandai both worked very well together. They both did very well making the Sailor Moon dolls. Yes, there were some things, the dolls, that they didn't do so well, and that tended to be with the stands. Where Bandai, the dolls couldn't hold anything in their hands unless you took the gloves off. That's where Irwin was good at. And yes, as you said, they did very well at the boxes. Now, we don't like to keep the dolls in the boxes. Once we get the box, we throw the box out. Now, for folks who like to keep their dolls in the boxes or like to look at those boxes, well, yeah, the boxes were really good. And the only way you could tell if it was an Irwin box or a Bandai box is what the writing on the side said. At the end of the day, I think both Bandai and Irwin did very well making the Sailor Moon dolls. You know? And keep in mind, a lot of folks are going to bring up all the other Sailor Moon dolls that Bandai has made since between 93 YL, but we're only talking about the dolls that they made in North Finland, you know, the Setterland, the 4-1 Reichs. Not about the dolls they were making all over the world, you know, because at the end of the day, those are not the dolls we're talking about. And yes, there are some folks in the Sailor Moon followership that like to call the first Irwin Toy or Bandai dolls that came out from between 95 YL to 20 YL the ugly or long-leered dolls. And then they like to call the dolls that came out in late 20, early 2001 YL that Irwin Toy and Bandai made, they call them beautiful dolls. But guess what? They both were beautiful. In their own way, they were. And sometimes those are the only ones you have. Sometimes when you went to KB Toys or Toys R Us or Kmart or Hills or Ames or Walmart at the time when they were selling all these things, sometimes that was the only one there. And nowadays, if you're buying it from, I don't know, Amazon or Strong Women or, well, they don't sell much anymore, those. You're going through eBay or Etsy or Overstock or Deal Dash, then yeah, those are going to be the ones you're going to see. So sometimes you have to pick which ones you can afford and which ones happen to be there. But I think at the end of the day, they both did very well making the dolls. You know, I am happy to be an Irwin Toy doll. And I hope that everybody else is happy being an Irwin Toy doll too. Well, thank you, Sailor Neptune, Sailor SeaWorld. Thank you, Michelle, giving your thoughts on Irwin Toy and Bandai. I think they both did very well with making the dolls. All right? I think they did very well with the clothing. They did good well with the shape-shifting staffs or sticks. The one thing they may have not did so well at was making the stands. You know how those stands are. Unless you wear boots, the stands aren't going to work very well. If you're a doll wearing shoes, then forget it. The stands won't work at all. You'll either fall over or bend over. At the end of the day, I think that's a little oversight and some forgiveness for that. I don't know why. But I think at the end of the day, if you overlook the doll stands not being so well, everything else was made well. I mean, that's just my take. You know, if you like Irwin Toy, if you think that Irwin Toy or Bandai did very well, or you think they both did very well, then good. If you don't, then if you thought one did greater dolls than the other, all right, that was your belief then. So it is what it is. All right, hope you like this film. You know, give it a like, share and playlist it, and we'll see you later.